Welcome to Reality Speaks TV.
Hi,
It's me,
Sparkle.
Sparkle Denise, and I'm here with my co-host today, Heather. So, welcome everybody. I'm just going to read something really brief just to kind of kick us off to what we're going to be doing today. So, welcome to Reality Speaks TV, where real people have real conversations in real time. These conversations help move our communities forward. This is a kickoff episode of our new series, Civic Power, Local Voices, Local Choices, also known as The Voice Behind the Voice. We're talking about the power of local government, why your vote matters here in Utica, and how one's woman mission to educate become a bold run for office. So, do we know how our local government really works? Are we curious about who makes decisions that impact our daily life, like housing, safety, and public service? Well, today we're joined by my co-host, Heather Wasielewski. I had it. Heather,
You know my last name.
I know your last name, and all of a sudden I'm reading it, and I'm like,
I don't blame you.
yeah.
It's not real.
Heather Wasielewski. Say your last name because we're not going to do this. Wasielewski. Heather Wasielewski. I've been saying it right all day, right?
Yeah.
Like, the voice behind every voice Utica. Heather's been creating educational content to help our community better understand city council. And now she's stepping into the ring as a candidate for council herself. And now she's here with us live today, sharing her insights. Welcome, Heather. How you feeling today?
I'm good. It's Sunday though, and it's rainy, so
It's sunny and it's rainy. Oh, okay. I guess we'll be the shine, the bright stuff that's here
the
today.
sun today.
Yeah. So we're this. Okay, so this is one, like I mentioned earlier, this is a one-part special series that will take us through to November, which is the month of the elections in this region for local elections. So let's build knowledge, power, and community one conversation at a time, from civic educator to city council candidate. Let's talk local power. It isn't about left or right. This is about right here, right now in our community. As a matter of fact, Heather, your slogan is neighbors over
politics.
Okay. So I would like you to tell us about yourself, but before you do that, things that I didn't mention.
Right.
What's the political myth? I'm gonna have here's an icebreaker question for you. What's a political myth or rumor you'll love to set the record straight on right now? I'll ask the question again. What's a political myth or rumor you'll like to set the record straight on right now?
In general, you mean like everywhere that people?
In general,
okay.
Yes.
Well, I kind of want to go to voting actually, because I worked as a voter in voter protection, and people think that votes are rigged and this stuff is happening, and it's not. You know, I've worked in it for a while now, so your vote does matter. Your vote does count, so you should definitely get out there and vote. It is not rigged in any way. So it's really important that people know that. A lot of people, what stops them from voting is the fact that they don't believe that their vote actually matters, and it really does. And in a city like Utica, your vote can change everything. So it's very important. So let's get out of that whole thought process that your vote doesn't matter.
All right. Thank you, Heather Wasielewski.
Off the cuff right now.
I like that. Heather Wasielewski.
Yeah, right.
So I like to title this The Voice Behind Every Voice, because first I want you to tell us a little bit about who you are, right? what just about Heather, and
Okay.
then the voice behind every voice. I
Okay.
want to know about the voice behind every voice. Like, what inspired you to start it, and what has the journey like been so far sharing this
Okay.
platform with others?
So was born in Utica. I have, I have an adorable son who I love very much. And let's see how I could go with so I love to help the community. I'll go in any which way I can. I worked in a nonprofit sector. Restarted a neighborhood association. I really just like to help people and inform them on how to use their voice. I'm like that person, like if there's 1,000 people in a room and there's one person sad, I need to figure out in my head, how do I get them involved? How do I make them happy? That's just how I am. I'm that kind of person. I know what it's like not to be heard. I know it's like a struggle. So when you learn how to use your voice, it's a very powerful tool. So
Mm,
back in COVID, when COVID happened, I think we all remember that we were always trying to look for things to do.
yes.
And during COVID, I would take my son up to the Eagle, up by the switchbacks and the golf course, the ski place up there. And we would walk, ride bike, and cars would go flying by. Like I'd pick up my son and move him off to the side of the road. People would race in the evening. It was just not safe. Someone was going to get killed or hurt really bad. So I'm like, who do I talk to about this? Do I call the mayor? What do I do? So I contacted my friend and she says, you have to call your councilwoman. And I'm like, who's our councilwoman? What is a councilwoman? I think people can understand what I'm saying. So I found out who she was. I contacted her. I told her the issue that I was having. And she said to me, I can go to the council and advocate on your behalf, but it would be better if you came and spoke. And I'm like, okay, I'll go. So I walk into this big room, no idea who anybody is in there, what's going on, and I have 3 minutes to talk to them. I can't ask them questions, they can't ask me, and then I'm done. And we walk away.
Mm,
So 3 weeks later, I get an email and it says, we've approved your speed bumps to put up at the Eagle to slow down traffic. And I was like, this is so cool. I just advocated for something and I got it. Now, it doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but it showed me that as just a regular constituent, that I had power here in the community. And I found that to be exciting. So from there, I started speaking at school board meetings. I started speaking at the council. I started doing all of that. And next thing you know, I'm like, I want to restart South Utica Neighborhood Association because I want to give people that ability to use their voice, help them out, connect them with the right people. And that's what I did. So we started out with like 5 people attending to 30 to 50 people at the end. And
wow.
it was incredible, but it wasn't enough. I don't think there's ever enough. So that's where every voice came in because people were asking me that weren't from South Utica, what does this mean or what is happening? And I decided to create a platform that would break down legislation, tell people when meetings were, um, and most importantly, have a place where people could put in their address, find out what ward they live in, who their council members were, and how to contact them. So it was all this stuff that led to
Wow.
this. So,
Wow, that's incredible. And so this is a nonpartisan
yes.
platform.
So the big part is, and I truly believe this, at a local level, party politics should not matter because we all want the exact same thing. We want nice neighborhoods, we want good roads, clean parks. We all want the same thing. So that was the best part about this was it doesn't have to be Democrat, Republican, conservative, working family, anything like that. It's about what we all want to grow as a community. And I felt good to share it in a nonpartisan way. I mean, there are some times when I have a thought and I really want to say it, but I feel like I'm helping people more by giving them the information and then letting
Mm-hmm.
them make the decision from there. And that felt
Wow.
good because there were people that are Republicans, Democrats, conservatives that would message me and ask me questions or share the post. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this. Or people are understanding this. So,
Well,
yeah.
isn't that wonderful? Talk about like sharing education with civic community, like everyone's like from all walks of life are contacting you about it. That's an incredible story. That's like a real great inspiration. Talking about like actually doing something about your situation and then seeing the feedback and feeling empowered to do more. That's really cool.
Thank you.
That's really cool. Okay, I like that. So I guess that goes right into my next question. When you mentioned, just want to help people understand what's going on, can you break down for us, I guess in simple terms,
I'm going to
what
break it
does
down really
really
simple.
simple? Yeah, I
Because
mean because
if you want to know how it all works with more, you can go to Every Voice, Utica.org, and look that all up.
that's right. Everyvoiceutica.org. Let me make sure I get that in
Because I don't want to bore you. I don't want to school everybody on a Sunday night.
here.
Okay, so the Common Council is kind of like Utica's local version of a Congress. We have the mayor, we have the courts, so no single branch can control the entire city. There are 10 members on the council. 6 of them are ward council members. 3 are council members citywide. And then 1 is the council president who controls the meetings and is the tiebreaker vote for when they're doing, when they're voting on things. He's usually the one who's the tiebreaker for most things. The council creates resolutions, ordinances, and local laws. And that's pretty much it. But that's the small, bite-sized, smallest version I can tell you of it without kind of boring you out of that.
Okay.
So, I mean, the council can pass laws. The mayor can accept them or veto them. When things like that happen, they need a super majority of the council to override the mayor. So there's things like that. They're in charge of the budget, city code, garbage rules, things of that nature. So.
Okay. So you break down all of that on everyvoiceutica.org. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's wonderful. So I put the website right underneath for our viewing audience who might want to check it out, learn more, see what you've been doing. And how long, you said during COVID, so is this year 2, year 3 for you?
This would be 2021, so it's 2025, so it's 4 years.
Oh, it's 4 years. Wow.
So Every Voice has only been around for 2 years, almost 2 years. But I started advocating and really getting involved during COVID. So
yes.
That's when I started joining in nonprofits. I started doing the neighborhood association, all different things.
Okay. So I wanted to go into why local elections matter. Because Heather, honestly, families have been broken apart. People have been getting divorced. Co-workers, people have been quitting their jobs, removing people from social media. I've heard all types of stories as far as the national level of government, with the new administration. And people are really bothered by that. I guess the question is, can you break down? Well, actually, a lot of people, because of that reason, the new administration, they'll focus on national politics, right? Mm-hmm. Why should they care just as much, if not more, about local elections? Why are local elections important? I mean, I'm just going to say, I don't think anybody should ever let what you believe politically or religiously or whatever break you up. We all have a right to believe in what we, can we agree to disagree? But without the focus on national politics, why should we care a little bit more about local?
Okay, so what's happening out there is on a federal level is really out of our control at this point. We have elected officials up there who are taking care of that. There's not much we can say down here in Utica that's going to change what's happening out there. But at a local level, your representatives are all accessible. Local politics is attainable. I mean, you can go and eat lunch with your mayor, your chief of staff, your council person. We have the ability to sit down and talk with all of them, which is great. Think of it kind of like this. Say there you have a giant boulder and there's one little ant trying to push that boulder up a hill for national politics. You need about 1 million more just to get that thing moving. But at a local level, say this ant is pushing a rock and he gets 15 of his buddies to come help him. That is local politics. It only takes a few of us to say something to make a difference. So, that's how I see it. Now, is national tough? Yes. But we can control what's happening in our community right here, right now. And I feel that's really important. And it only takes a few of us, just a few people to say one thing. And that's more than we could ever do right now for the national level. I'm not saying don't advocate. I'm not saying don't go to rallies, don't do your thing. But I'm saying that you can get a lot here. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I like that so far. All right, so moving right along. What this is for barriers and misinformation, right? What's getting in the way of people engaging, in your opinion? What's getting in the way of people engaging more with local government? Is it access? Is
Oh
it
gosh,
apathy? Misinformation?
it's
All of
all of
the
it.
above?
Literally all that. Please, City of Utica, do not get mad at me, but your website's awful. It's very hard to figure out. You can go to agendas, you have to go to Eco 360, you have to put in the date, you have to find all the information. It's just really hard first to navigate. Most people don't even know we have council meetings. The only way sometimes you can learn something is if you watch the video or wait 2 weeks for minutes to come out. Sometimes the news doesn't even cover things that are past or things that have happened. And that makes it really difficult. Um, so those are some of the things that definitely get in the way of all that. And that's why we created Every Voice, because there are not only just regular meetings, but there are special meetings. So I need to call the clerk's office, talk to them and say, hey, is there a special meeting this week? So I can make a post about it. Can you help explain me what this means? So I would post the meetings. Then I would break down the legislation so people can actually understand it. Then I would write a report on all the stuff that's happening. So it's just hard, and it's a lot to intake too. So there's no, like if there's a meeting coming up, a video might post 2 weeks later. So I think it's all about finding the information. So we created a place where you can go and get that information.
That's right.
So
Yeah, and and your website is really user friendly. I've even seen you on TikTok and Facebook, social media, where I land a lot. So that was really refreshing. And then you have everyone's photo and their email address. Did you have to ask permission first, or you just said, "Listen, this is what I'm about to do. Whether you
well,
like it
it's
or
all
not, I'm going to give them
so I
information."
did contact all the council members last year. And I said, that I'm doing this Every Voice. Feel free to, if you have questions, you want to ask me anything. I wanted them to know that I was making this platform. But it's all free information out there. So I took it all in their pictures and put it in there
Gotcha.
and made that happen. I feel that council members need to do a better job of letting their community know when meetings are, what's happening. Not all of them are not doing it. I'm not saying that, but it would be nice to have a place where people can actually see more information that's easier and accessible.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Um, so for someone who's watching right now, because I know that they are, because I'm looking at the people watching, um, what's getting in the way? Did I ask you that? Oh yeah. For
Yeah.
someone who's watching now, who wants to get involved but doesn't know where or how to start,
I think
what's one small action that they can make today? One
I'm gonna
small action.
I'm gonna give them a few small actions they can choose from. First of
Okay.
all, I'm going to say attend your council meeting. It's going to be kind of weird at first because you're not going to understand what's going on. Really, you won't. But you will as you continue to go, because you have the opportunity to share that information with other people in your neighborhood. It gives you a better understanding of what's going on. So I always say the council first. The second thing I would do is the neighborhood association meetings. I would attend them in your ward and even other wards. These are all volunteer-run neighborhood associations who have their council people there that are giving them information. They have city representatives there that are giving information, nonprofits giving information. So those are two of the things that I would definitely get involved in. One is also next would be campaigns or your local party. Get involved with your local party or your in campaigns, because you can learn a lot about how the congressional works, learn a lot more about how politics works. Door knocking for campaigns was a big thing for me. I met a ton of people that are my friends today. I met you through a campaign. I have met,
Mm-hmm.
you learn a lot about your community through campaigns as well. So those are three things. Volunteering for a nonprofit is another good way to know what's going on in your community. When I worked at the Utica Food Pantry, there were so many people that had questions on codes and all different things that just felt they're at their wits' end on how to do things. So, you can learn a lot through all those.
So attend council meetings. So, and you give the council meetings on your website too, right?
So generally I
I
do.
believe.
I'll be honest with you guys. Since I started campaign, I've kind of been moving my stuff over to campaign. So I need to like find a way to make them both working together right now. And I'm on it, but I'm still answering questions. But yes, I do update everything. And when there's meetings,
Okay.
everything on there. So
And
you
you're
should,
also on TikTok as Every Voice
yep,
Utica and Facebook
yep,
Every Voice Utica,
and
just for
Instagram.
people who wanted to, you know, follow up and find out more. Um, so the only reason why I thought it was really important to have you on was because you were on the other end, like you said that you helped to reestablish the SUNA, right, which is
Yep,
South Utica Neighborhood Association.
yep.
That's you felt like you wanted to do that, and I teased you like, "Oh, Heather, you should run." You were like, "No, no, no, I'm not running." But I believe that with your work with the South Utica Neighborhood Association, as well as the work that you just recently done, somewhere along that way you changed your mind. Is
Yes.
that okay? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, after a while, I was getting, it's hard to, well, I'll tell you. I voiced my opinion a lot on behalf of everybody. I'm okay to put things out there. And after a while, I was getting messages from certain people that were kind of criticizing what I was doing. And I was thinking, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm just going to run because I'm at that point where I want to take other people's voices to that next level and I want to be there. I don't work for the mayor. I don't work for the council. I wouldn't. I would work for the community. And I felt I've already gone this far. I've been putting in the work. Why not go to that next level? I'm ready for it. So, yeah, someone said something made me really mad. And I'm like, I'm going to run. I was so mad. I was not going to run. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm going to run. So, thank
Wow.
you, person who made me upset.
Oh yeah, that's funny. It usually is something like that that
I
get us
couldn't
upset.
believe
That
it.
be like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it myself. You know
I
what?
wasn't. I was the last minute too. They were on me, and I said, "I don't know, no." And then someone made me mad. I was like, "I'm done.
I'll just do it myself.
I'm done."
Yes, exactly. So, well, I'm not gonna keep you here much longer. This is our first, you know, introductory episode, so to speak. So we're gonna be doing more. But I do have one last question for you. And then I also wanted to talk about where people can register to vote. I don't know if you have that information on hand, but I'm going to, while you're talking, look for it. Because I believe for this election in November, for people who are local, they have up until a certain time to actually register. Is a
Mhm.
deadline just for this particular election, like the one that you're running in for November. It's not. Um, I think you could. Oh, okay. I think that. Um, okay. I think that. Oh, let me see. I'm trying to get it myself while you're doing that too. Um, so while I'm working on that, we do have a comment in the chat, and I want to get to it. Okay. So this one is from YouTube. Let me bring it up. Is it there? Okay, here we go. It says, "Oh, my glasses. Can you see that?"
I can see it says, "I do agree that we as people should vote. However, trust in politicians are low for me. I also believe that there are people that mistrust politics." Yeah, I can understand that. I think that that's why it's important that people themselves attend these meetings because it could be one person who attends and tells it to somebody else, to somebody else. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And a lot of
Mhm.
it travels right through a community. And Utica's not a city, it's a village. So everyone's talking. So I think the best way to hear it, one is go to meetings yourself, but also hold your representatives accountable for their actions and what they're doing. That's how you gain trust. If they're not doing it, then it's time to maybe move on and vote somebody else. At a national level, that's a tough one, but at a local level, at least that there is some accountability there that you can hold it for them and hold them up to.
Yes.
I'm not sure
Okay.
if that helps, but that's kind of, I can understand why you feel that way.
Right. Right. Hope that helped you out, yeah, carriers. Um, So it's looking like that 2025 is in 36 days for the June primary.
That's a primary. So in Utica, there is a primary for Republicans and I believe Ward 2, which is
Okay.
for Ward 2. However, I'm not primaried, and the rest of us don't have elections till November 4th.
Oh, so just November
Yeah,
4th.
so we're
Okay.
just cruising on until November 4th. And then what we'll do is put out, as we move along, we'll get you more information on early voting, all of that. So mail-in voting, all that information.
Okay. So we'll have that information by next segment.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
great. All right. But just for anyone who wanted to know anything about voting now, I'm going to just send them to Oneida County
The BOE, yeah.
VOTES. It says Oneida County, New York, VOTES.gov is where I landed, where they're saying stuff about how to vote by mail. And I'll just add that on later on. But the final question, let me make sure I don't have anything else in the chat. Oh, there is something. Oh, you can see it too?
I just sent you a link thing.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, there we go. Also, I think you will be great representative for us.
Thanks. Thank you. I'm going to try.
Oh, wait. Okay, so let me get, there we go. All right, now we're back. Okay, thank you for that link. I'm going to share that link.
I recommend that people start, if you're not registered to vote, to register now. That's something you can do right now to get you ready for November.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
you'll be surprised how many people think they're registered that are not registered.
That's true. And then some of us, we move. You know, a lot of us, you know, like I moved since the last election. We just have to be sure that when we do move, that our addresses are updated too. So it's like we're registering all over, but we're not actually registering. I mean, excuse me, it's like we're registering all over, but we're not. Only thing that we really want to do is change our address.
Yeah.
And why
so you
can't
might not be ready. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not able to share this link for some strange reason, but I will share it with people who are watching now.
There you go.
So I just wanted to go over to our final question for this segment. And it is for someone, no, if you could leave the community with one message about civic power, what would it be?
This is short. That your voice matters. Your voice matters. Every voice in the community matters. The more informed you are, the more power you have. But don't think for a second that your voice doesn't matter, because in the city of Utica, your voice matters. It matters here. So that's where I am with that. That every voice does matter.
Every voice does matter. And that's also going to remind our listening audience that is everyvoiceutica.org to find out more. Heather, just thank you for joining us this evening and being a part of this special segment that we're going to kick off. Civic Power, Local Voices, Local Choices. The voice behind every voice. And I guess that's all we have for now.
This is perfect.
Yeah, this is perfect. We're going to stay tuned in, everybody, for our next edition. We're looking for that once a month, maybe once every other month.
Let me know, and I'll be on.
And I'll keep everybody tuned in.
Yeah, we got to keep it going.
Yes, we're going to keep it going, so we won't leave anyone alone, especially if you're in this region, which is Utica, New York, and Central New York, and the Mohawk Valley. We want to keep everybody empowered. Let's face it. It took me. I didn't vote for 10 years, and then I ended up running too. It's just like it changes the spectrum a lot. Yeah. So I think that this is where we can start and get people comfortable about talking about voting, about talking about elections, with a focus on local elections, because I do think that it make a big difference if we at least start from our local level. Well, thank you for joining us this evening, everyone, on Reality Speaks TV, which is real people, real talk, in real time. Thank you, Heather Wasielewski. I'm not going to do this anymore.
We're not friends anymore. We're done.
I'm not. Good night. Wasielewski. Put some respect on this lady's name. Heather Wasielewski. Heather Wasielewski. Heather Wasielewski. Everyvoiceutica.org and Reality Speaks TV. Tune in. Stay tuned in for our next episode. This is Real People, Real Talk, and Real Time. Good night, everyone. See you next time.